You're tuned into Inside Lowell. Inside Lowell podcast brought to you in part by Washington Savings Bank, serving the greater Lowell community for over 130 years. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. WellPoint. Unicare is now WellPoint. New name, same commitment to Massachusetts. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Boston North Company, offering a wide variety of business solutions to help restaurant and retail clients save money. Boston North. Mahoney Oil Company, providing warmth and protection to families in Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. That's Mahoney Oil. Francis E. Preventia Insurance. For auto, home, business, and life, trust the agency Greater Lowell has counted on for more than 40 years. Francis E. Preventia Insurance. GoPuff. A grocery store right at your fingertips. Use the code Lowell20 to receive $20 off your first order of $21, plus free delivery. Download the GoPuff app or visit gopuff.com today. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Tsonga Center in Lowell. Get your tickets today by visiting masspiratesfootball.com. And now, time for another Inside Lowell podcast. Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place. Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat here in the beautiful WellPoint Studios. The Inside Lowell podcast is coming to you from the WellPoint Studios. Unicare is now WellPoint. New name, same commitment to Massachusetts. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. So excited to be here on this snowy day. I should not be saying that in April, but that's beside the point. But my two guests that are on with me today braved the snow to come out here and join us. They are from the Merrimack Repertory Theater, and they are performing The Porch on Windy Hill from April 3rd to the 21st. I have EJ Zimmerman and David Lutken. How are you both?
Great.
Cold and wet.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Other than that, yes.
Oh my gosh, you're so brave. So this morning, before I went to a great grand opening of the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, I emailed you to say, are you still on? And you were both brave.
Oh, shucks.
I said, I'm going to be here anyway. But so thank you for being here. I'm so excited to hear more about the show.
Well, we're excited to tell you.
All right, let's do this. And that accent's not from Massachusetts.
No, I grew up in Texas, but I'm kind of from a lot of places, Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, and North Carolina, all kind of places down there.
What about you?
I'm from near Baltimore,
Awesome.
But I live in New York City now. I'm a real New Yorker now.
Excellent. Real New Yorker. I love it. And you say you're from all over the place, but when you act and you perform live performances, you travel, right?
Yes, that's right.
We're here now, yeah.
And you've performed together in the past. I was doing a little bit of digging before we started.
Yes, we have. The original production of The Porch on Windy Hill was in
At the
Connecticut.
Iverton in Connecticut.
Right.
Yep.
2.5 years ago. And the play was written by actually 4 people. And one of those, a dear friend of ours, actually, when Sherry, who's the director, my wife, when she called Lisa to come in with us and collaborate on this thing, Lisa said, I'd love to, but I'm pregnant and I'm going to have a baby 5 weeks before we start rehearsal. This was 2.5 years ago. So we hired EJ to come and be her understudy because we knew that there were going to be times when the 5-week-old child would require that she was not be able to be with us. So EJ and I first worked together at that time and had a great run down there, and now we're very excited that the play has gone on and that EJ has been able to
I've graduated.
Right.
Good for you. That's so exciting. So it must be a play that's near and dear to both of your hearts since you've performed it many times.
Oh, yes.
Can we talk about the play?
Okay, sure. The play is it's a very small thing. It's just 3 people and a bunch of great old music, and it's a family drama about Ali. Well, it's about a lot of things. It's sort of it's about America during the epidemic.
It's a very American story, I
right.
would say.
And we've had a great time doing it. We've done a couple of productions now, and Merrimack Repertory Theater is actually the third full production that we've had, and we have a couple of more coming up. We've been very, very fortunate with it, and we're very excited. We had our first preview last night, and we're open on Saturday, and really looking forward to MRT audiences coming to get a little taste of the Porch on Windy Hill.
And we're doing a chamber mixer there on April 18th before the play. So if you want to come, network, learn more about the MRT, and then come see the play.
Yeah.
You should. The play it's wonderful. And, it's been changing since its first production. The first production, they wrote it and they got a production of it, which is just crazy anyway, to have written something and then so quickly get an actual production of it. And it's so timely because it does actually take place in 2021.
Wow.
So it's, just after the lockdown. So it's a time that we all remember, but we are quickly forgetting.
Well, we want to forget, maybe.
So, and it's just, and they've still been developing it even through these other productions. So it's changed, become even more beautiful. And one of the coolest parts is that that we play live music. It's not a musical, it's a play with music. So there's a lot of speaking, but we do also stop and we actually play together. And the three of us just sit there picking tunes, and it's really cool.
Well, when the play, if our director, Sherry Lutken, if she were here, she would say that this play really came out of the epidemic because theaters, of course, all over the place were closing down and unable to do anything because it's indoor activity.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky today that it's indoor activity because of the weather today. But at the time, in 2021, theaters were just opening back up. And it was not too long after that I was at Merrimack Rep for the first time when I did Woody Says, which is the play about Woody Guthrie that I put together several years ago with a group of people. A little bit the way this one has been done. It was a collaboration of four people. Sherry Lutken and Lisa Helmi Johanson is her name, the mother of the 2.5-year-old now, and Morgan Morse, who's a fellow that I've worked with many times, and myself. I'm David Lutken. And the four of us wrote it in a very short period of time, and Sherry was the director, and the three of us were the actor, performer, writers, and everything. And consequently, it has been changing a lot, but it has remained the core story has remained, and it really does have a lot to do with music. The three characters in the play are musicians, and but they're kind of different, and so that's a big part of it is the fact that in musical efforts there is a great sort of ease historically of osmosis and copying different styles and styles coming together. But in America in particular, but actually all over the world, socially we have a little more difficulty with osmosis and cross
Eloquently put.
Well, thank you. And so that really is what the play is about. It's sort of, I've described it before as kind of the very, very small little thing, sort of looking through a keyhole at a much larger set of issues that affect us all.
And music really can bring people together, and it
That's
can
right.
also,
Yes.
show people's differences, I guess, in some cases as well.
That's right, sure. And at the same time, be sort of universal language that I've had. Oh, by the way, that I should mention that while we're here, we're having a couple of hootenannies.
Oh, a hootenanny.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's ever been a hootenanny in Lowell.
No, well, yes, there have.
Yes, because
actually,
you had them
but
before.
I was here doing what he says in 2022, right as the epidemic was, kind of tailing off. Please, yes, knock on wood. And we had some hootenannies at Merrimack Ales on Bolt Street.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they have consented to do it again. So on the 7th, just coming up Sunday, and the 21st, our last Sunday, they're going to stay open a little bit later for us. We have a matinee at 2 o'clock, and we finish at about 4, and by about 4:45 or so, we'll be over there and all have a beer, I hope, and play some songs. And everyone within the sound of my voice is invited to come and bring a musical instrument and play, because that's what a hootenanny is to play and sing and drink. Although you don't have to, you can put those together any way you want. You don't have to do all three of them.
I'm going to use that with my kids, but without the drinking part. Maybe we'll drink, water or seltzer or juice. But yeah, we're going to have a hootenanny.
Yeah,
and they'll probably be like, "Mom," because I'm always singing with them in there. Sometimes they join in, and other times they're like, "Mom, stop." Wow. But both my brothers are musicians, not professionally at this point. But so
hey, well,
I
that
grew up with music in our house.
I'm a musician. I get paid for it every once in a while, but I play an awful lot when I don't get paid for it.
You.
So.
I thought I was a Little Mermaid growing up, so.
Didn't we all? Yeah.
Speaking of, do you have any artists that have influenced you throughout the years?
Oh my!
Loaded question.
Oh my! Oh, who can? Everything is an inspiration. I mean, well, I will say, this is a special play for me. I'm Asian American, and so it's really lovely to have a play that features an Asian American woman and her story and kind of her trials and tribulations living in this world at this time. So it's really special. So like, I don't know, like Lisa is one of my heroes. I'm so blessed that she's written this role and that you all have, and that it exists. And I'm like, everyone, all these Asian American actors who have come before me, it's like that for me, it's very special for me. Yeah.
That's great. And I think that'll strike a chord with this community too, as well, because
I hope so.
There's so much Asian influence in Lowell. And I don't know if you know this, but Lowell is the second most Cambodian populated city in the country next to Long Beach. Right. So.
And we're actually supporting Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association
excellent.
While we're here.
Great.
And another organization called Asian Americans Advancing Justice, which is a civic organization all over the United States. We have CD recording, and actually you can get it on the digital thingamadodger or whatever you call it. But,
digital.
We have a website, theporchofwindyhill.com, and you can get a digital download of all of the music in the show, recorded by the original cast, and a portion of the proceeds from that goes to these organizations.
That's incredible. That's great.
Yeah. Well, and
but you're not getting off. You're off the hook. You still have to tell me who your influences
Oh, goodness
were.
gracious!
It's got a long list.
It is a very long list. I would start, though. I have to say, I'd start with my grandparents, who my paternal grandmother was a classical pianist.
Wow.
And she, right around World War I, she was kind of a muckety-muck down in Mississippi. Playing the piano, did quite a few solos with touring symphony orchestras and things like that. And my maternal grandmother was kind of the other end of the scale, sort of hootenanny-ish. And so those two branches of the family tree have been a big influence on me and my music. But other than that, gosh, I grew up singing in the choir when I was a little kid. A lot of church music, and I studied at the Royal School of Church Music, as a matter of fact, when I was a boy.
That's pretty fancy.
But I also learned to play the mandolin when I was about 8, and played, Charlie on the MTA and old stuff like that people from Lowell certainly will know and sing along with at the hootenannies. So there really have always been these, I'm a huge fan of Duke Ellington and Uncle Dave Macon and Louis Armstrong and Bob Marley and the Beatles and everything. I am a musical omnivore, I guess I would say.
That's wonderful. Is there anything else about the play that you want to tell me about before I ask you to perform something?
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. It is the full title of the play actually is The Porch on Windy Hill, a new play with old music.
I love it.
And when we put the thing together at for the Iverton Playhouse, this is kind of a fun aspect of it. Because of the epidemic, Sherry and I work together quite often. She as director and I as musical director, and we had several projects in the pipeline in 2019.
Yes.
There we go.
Yep.
And 20 and 21 and 22, most of which were canceled, of course. And so the theater in Iverton, the wonderful artistic director there, said to us that they had to cancel this bigger show that we were supposed to do. But what else did we have that had no more than 3 people and all of the music was in the public domain? And
wow.
And so we began to think about it, and that really is how we began to put the ideas together that became this play, was because of the epidemic and because of what theaters were trying to do to survive, to keep things going, because music is so popular amongst theater goers now. And that's a great thing for people like me who play music and are also actors.
And involved in a lot of hootenannies.
That's right. And well, the great thing about hootenannies, of course, is you can have them outside, which, well, not today, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to look out the window right now.
But anyway, so that's the idea of a play with old music, old American music, which is a little bit of my specialty, I guess. Was fascinating to Sherry and to me. And so we thought of that. Sherry came up with this idea, which I will go ahead and tell you a little about, which is the idea of the sort of the coming together of a play about a family and a play about music and a play about race and racism in America. And all of these things, because all of those things are interwoven and they come out in different ways depending upon the atmosphere of the moment and all different kind of things. And so we wanted to explore that. And I know I'm getting kind of esoteric and artsy here. I don't want to. But that really is what the play is about, is all of these things and how they bear upon each other. And so using old American music seemed perfect to me, because all our traditional music in America has come from many different influences and many different races of people who have all come to the United States as immigrants and made their way. And so that's where this the song that we're going to play is a song that's come from, it's actually like 17th century ballad that has been influenced when it came to America with the immigrants of all kinds, and played on an American instrument that I will unlimber in a second here. And to really sort of put the whole thing together, we've done our best at the culmination of the play to put it all together in one song.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because you kind of look back and how the pandemic affected your industry.
Yes.
And that must have been absolutely devastating when you had 4 years of your life lined up, and then all of a sudden all your hard work and then you're just sitting there like, what are we going to do now? So to create something that's this beautiful and to kind of tell the story, I mean, that must be pretty incredible.
Well, it kind of, for a little while there in the epidemic, we were in an interesting situation. Of course, we were also in a very difficult situation, but people had to decide, even the government had to decide whether aspects of everything that the Chamber of Commerce has to do with, whether those things were essential or not, and whether they should be supported or not. And that's, of course, that's a pretty interesting question that you could devote many episodes of the podcast to. But those of us in the theater, you're absolutely right. It was at once, it was extremely difficult, and also was, that moment when you squeeze in the bar of soap and something happens, that something comes out of it. And this is a play that came out of it.
Incredible. I want to hear. What do you say? You unlimber?
Yeah,
I want you to unlimber your instrument.
It's a dulcimer, so I feel like sometimes people are like, I don't even know what this instrument is. You'll see it's really cool.
Dulcimer is
oh wow.
Is an American instrument that is descended from, apparently, maybe some people will argue,
I wouldn't have known what that was.
There you go. You can see it. There you go.
Yeah, let me
It's descended actually from the zither, which is a Central European thing that also has counterparts all over the world. That a zither has a fretboard like this, but a zither also has a harp.
Oh wow!
Attached to it, and there are a couple of great examples of zither music. But basically, what you would do is you would fret the melody and pick the chords that go along with it. So, at some point, this, they say, evolved with Central European immigrants, largely German in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Kentucky and all around in there. And they left off the harp and just kept the fretboard. But the tuning, people will say it's a very interesting thing, because almost everything has sort of a drone quality to it that sounds kind of Celtic to a lot of people. And the old style of playing it is just to fret one string. And I learned to play it from my oldest brother, who learned to play it from an old guy down in Swannanoa, North Carolina.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
And anyway, I don't want to talk.
Have you ever been to the Lowell Folk Festival?
I'd love to play.
Have you ever heard of the Lowell? Okay.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
I feel like that's like right up your alley.
Oh, sure. We have to come back and do it. You bet. This song, as I said, it's a very, very old song called "My Horses Ain't Hungry," and one of the aspects of American music that is fascinating to me is that collectors in the early 20th century began looking for all kinds of music all over the United States, but particularly in the Appalachian Mountains, and they found a lot of old songs from the British Isles and also from Europe that had made their way to the United States and then been influenced by all kinds of even indigenous and the slaves who had been brought, and French Canadian influences, and all kinds of things that suffused themselves into these old songs. And so this tune's called "The Wagoner's Lad," which is way back, and it also is there's a couple of other different titles. But "My Horses Ain't Hungry" is the song that was found in America in the early 20th century and recorded on paper, before recordings existed, by a couple of famous collectors. And we've changed it a little bit, so I'll take the blame for that and made it about our little play. So here we go. My horses ain't hungry, won't eat your hay, so I'll hitch up my wagon, drive on my way. Your mama and your papa Think I'm too poor, so I'll hitch up my horses and drive from your door bound away from old Windy Hill.
Well, your mama and your papa and your family, I'm told, say all I'll be wanting is a part of your gold. Polly, sweet Polly, oh how can I stay with my horses hitched up? And I'm going away, bound away from old Windy Hill. Oh Johnny, sweet Johnny, you know that I care.
I'd ride right away with you now if I dare.
Mama, Papa,
They want me to home, but I love you, sweet Johnny. With you I'll roam bound away from old Windy Hill.
well, I hate to leave Mama. She treats me so kind, but I do love
you so, darling Johnny of mine.
Tell me, sweet Johnny, if with you I roam, that deep in your heart, I will always be homebound away from old Windy Hill. Well, goodbye now, dear mother.
Even today when the ground falls soft with the feet long way,
Young love is happier by far than old.
and that's all of our story we care to be told bound away
From old Windy Hill, bound away. From old Windy Hill.
That was very moving. That's amazing. It's as you were singing, I was just thinking about like how these universal themes transcend time, right?
right.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's a love story.
Yeah.
They do.
That's beautiful.
That's right, and
A
that's
love story, a family story. It's
Right.
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, it's all those things all put together, and we're very proud of it.
It's amazing.
And know that it will continue to a degree, and hope that it will continue farther than that. And we very much appreciate the fact that we are here at the Merrimack Repertory Theater right now, because this is an incredibly important step for us and for this play. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And beautiful voice. Your area. I don't stand a chance. But thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And that song, like I said, very moving. And I encourage everybody to come out and check out the Porch on the Windy Hill.
A new play with old music.
New play with old music. And right now you're in preview until Saturday, and then you run through the 21st.
Yeah, come see us.
Yes, come to the Hootenannies.
Oh, come one more time with the Hootenannies. That's
Right.
my new favorite word. I'm going to incorporate that.
7th and the 21st. There you go.
At Merrimack
Merrimack Hills.
Hills. So
Yeah.
come down to the Hootenanny. And if you've never been to a Hootenanny, there's no time like the present.
And that's right. You need to come.
If you've never been, you absolutely need to come.
That's right.
Well, thank you both so much for taking
Thank
the time.
you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
we
it.
appreciate it. Thanks.
And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Chamber Chat. We'll be back again sometime soon.